Caitlyn Clark did not return quietly. She did not ease her way back into rhythm, did not ask the game for patience, did not wait for permission. After 5 games in street clothes, after days of watching the league's most dominant team erase opponents without mercy, she stepped back onto the floor on June 14, 2025, and rewrote the night in less than a minute. New York walked into Indianapolis undefeated, 9 wins, no losses. Carrying themselves like inevitability had become a personality trait. Analysts spoke of dominance as if it were permanent. Coaches prepared for damage control instead of victory. Fans expected excellence, not suspense. And then, in 38 seconds, certainty collapsed. 3 shots from distances that should not exist in professional basketball, 9 points that landed like thunder, and suddenly the idea of inevitability looked fragile, almost foolish. This was not an upset. It was a rupture. The kind that changes how a league sees itself. While the Liberty were building their empire, Caitlyn Clark was sitting still, forced into silence by a strained quad. 5 games on the bench became 5 games of study. She watched how New York defended the 3, how they hedged hard, how they recovered faster than anyone else in the league. She noticed what nobody else had tried, that no team had ever truly challenged their defensive geometry. The Liberty were built to defend normal basketball, not the kind played from 30 and 34 feet away. Clark memorized tendencies. She learned where Stewart preferred to shade. She tracked how Jones reacted to high screens. She noticed the exact moments when help defenders drifted. By the time she was cleared to play, she was not just healthy. She was prepared in a way that only forced patience can create. The first quarter unfolded exactly how history said it should. New York controlled the tempo, smothered Indiana's offense, and built a comfortable lead. The crowd admired greatness, even if it belonged to the visitors. Then Clark caught the ball behind the logo, a distance usually reserved for desperation. She rose without hesitation and released. The ball dropped without touching rim. One shot could be dismissed as luck. 12 seconds later she did it again from the right wing. Same result, same disbelief. The building began to hum instead of sigh. 16 seconds later, she crossed left, planted, and launched over Stewart's reach from even deeper. 3 shots, 9 points, 38 seconds. The lead vanished. What changed was not just the score, it was the air. The Liberty no longer looked like rulers. They looked like thinkers searching for an answer that did not exist yet. From that moment forward, the game stopped resembling anything New York had prepared for. Clark did not cool down. She ignited. By halftime she had 25 points, carving through a defense that had humiliated every opponent before Indiana. The Liberty tried everything. They extended coverage farther from the basket, and she turned that space into passing lanes. They switched defenders, and she hunted mismatches. They pressured her body, and she slipped past with footwork sharpened by 5 games of observation. The problem was not tactical. It was mathematical. When a player can shoot comfortably from 34 feet, every defensive principle bends until it breaks. Help defense becomes late. Rotations become impossible. Every choice becomes wrong. She finished with 30 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 7 three-pointers. A stat line that had never existed in league history. Fastest to 850 career points among active players. Creating offense at a pace legends needed entire careers to approach. But numbers were only the surface. What mattered was what she had done to belief. She made defenders guard air. She made coaches redraw courts in their minds. She made inevitability feel like a lie. And this was not a one-player show. Upsets of this scale require harmony. Lexi Hull punished every rotation that dared to leave her. Her corner threes fell with ruthless consistency, turning every attempt to trap Clark into a mistake. Aaliyah Boston became a playmaking anchor from the elbows, seeing cutters before defenses could react, proving she was more than power in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell answered every Liberty run with a bucket that felt like a rebuttal. Nalissa Smith owned the glass with relentless hunger, denying second chances to a front line that had bullied the league. Off the bench, Sydney Coulson steadied the game when Clark rested, keeping pace and control intact. This was not chaos. This was orchestration. Behind it all stood a philosophy built on trust and preparation. Indiana did not win because they got lucky. They won because they were precise. Screens were set higher than usual, dragging defenders into territory they had never needed to guard. Defensive switches happened early, denying New York their favorite mismatches. Offensively, the Fever refused hero passes, moving the ball until someone overcommit, then punishing the mistake with an extra pass and an open shot. It was simple, but simplicity executed perfectly becomes devastating. Indiana did not just beat the Liberty. They showed the league how the Liberty could be beaten. When the final buzzer sounded, 102-88, nobody rushed away. Indiana players smiled like people who knew they had done something that would be remembered. New York players stood quietly, absorbing a truth they had not yet faced all season. Dominance had limits. Certainty had cracks. Within days, the ripple spread. Ratings jumped. Tickets for Indiana road games sold like playoff games. Conversations shifted from Liberty inevitability to Fever possibility. One night had revived parity. Indiana was not suddenly a champion. Their record was still modest. But records lie about direction. This team was climbing, not coasting. Their hardest stretch was behind them. Their star was only 23 years old. And the most dangerous version of Caitlyn Clark had not yet arrived. She was still building herself, shot by shot, game by game. At her current pace, she was approaching milestones that took legends hundreds of games to reach. Defenders already carried her range in their nightmares. New York would recover. Teams that talented always do. But they would never again face Indiana believing the outcome was guaranteed. That belief died in 38 seconds. Other teams were already studying the film, practicing those high screens, drilling those switches, searching their rosters for anyone who could even pretend to shoot like Clark. Some would fail. Some would succeed. And every time they tried, the shadow of June 14th would be there, reminding everyone that the era of inevitability had ended. That night was not just a game. It was a declaration. It redrew the boundaries of what was possible. The box score will never capture the moment when an entire arena realized the rules had changed. History did not close a chapter in Indianapolis. It opened one. The question now is not how far Caitlyn Clark can shoot. It is how far the game will have to follow her. If you felt that moment, if you believe this is the beginning of something bigger, drop your thoughts and join the conversation. Where do you think Caitlyn Clark is taking the game next? And who do you think can keep up with her? If you want more stories like this, told with depth, drama, and respect for the game, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because the future of basketball is being written right now and you deserve to